Hello, and welcome to our workshop. This workshop was previously delivered by the Studio for Teaching and Learning at St. Mary's University. As a result, you may hear references to other workshops, be prompted to take part in group activities, or hear references to the active chat from the original delivery of this session. As you follow along, feel free to pause the video and participate in exercises and activities as best you can. We hope you enjoy the workshop.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Julian Longfun, and I'm an educational developer for teaching support at the Studio. Welcome back, welcome to Jumpstart. And in this session, we're going to look at Microsoft Teams from a student perspective, and I'll guide you through how to access a team, how to communicate with your professors, your friends, and your classmates online, how to collaborate on files, how to hand in assignments, and more. We'll also look at how you can use Teams to do video conferencing. So as we go through the session, please use the chat box here on Brightspace to post any questions. If I go too fast at any point, just tell me to slow down or repeat something. Or if we have any technical issues, then obviously just pop it in there and let us know. There'll be a question and answer at the end as well. So hopefully we can answer some of your questions. Hopefully you'll also have the opportunity to participate. So if you have your email addresses and passwords ready, then hopefully be able to do that. All right, so first of all, let's move across to Chrome. So here we are in the browser, and we're going to take a look at Microsoft Teams, first of all, online through our portal. So the first thing to do is to navigate to portal.office.com. And then we're going to log in with my St. Mary's email address and password. There we go. And then once you've done this, let's stay signed in. Once you've done this, you come to your St. Mary's portal. And in here, we can see all of our apps. Oops, didn't want to do that. There we go. All right, so all the way down the side here, you can see I have my apps. And then on the side here, I can see there's Teams. So if we click on Teams, now this gives me a choice. I can get the app. As you can see, I'm on a Mac. I can get the app and it will download it for me, or I can use it online. So I'm going to use the web app instead in this instance. And you can see it takes me to my Teams. Okay, and you're welcome to stay on this page and join in through this demonstration if you like. We're actually going to use the desktop version for this demonstration. Okay, so let's move over to, where did I put it? So here's my desktop version. So the same idea again with the downloaded version for your desktop. You just sign in with your email address and password for St. Mary's. Here we go. And the benefit of downloading the app to your desktop, whether you're on a PC or a Mac, is that it will use lower bandwidth. And that is one of the good things about Teams, is it doesn't use a lot of bandwidth. So if you have a good internet connection, you can run HD quality videos quite easily. Let's move that over there. There we go. All right, so now you can see, now we're into our team. And you can see all the teams currently that I'm in along here. Now, if you haven't got a team, you can join a team with a code. So in the right-hand corner here, you can see join or create a team. So if you'd like to join a demo team, you can see I've got a Jumpstart How to Be an Online Student demo team there. If you'd like to join that, if you look in the chat box, I've just entered a code. And all you need to do is, once you've signed into Teams, enter that code into join a team with a code. If you pop it in there. then join, you'll actually join the team. Most of the time, you'll have been added to a team already or automatically if your professor decides to use Teams, or if one of your friends sets up a team, they can send you a code. All right then. So hopefully some of you will do that. You can see the code in the chat box. Let's move across over to this left-hand side here, and we have a navigation bar, and we'll start from the top. So activity really tells you everything that's been going on in Teams. We can filter it. For more options, I can see what's red or if anyone's mentioned me, if I've missed anything. So this is a good place to start when I open up Teams in the morning. Okay, now the next thing we're going to go to is chat. Oh, I've got a message already. What's that? There we go. So here with chat, you can start new messages in here. And you can chat directly to colleague, Amanda. There we go. And you can see at the bottom there, we've got some formatting tools, just like you would in an email. And just one thing is, do press that formatting button, because if you press return, it's going to send. But there we go. You can click that and send that one off. So these are really good options down the bottom. There we go. So good, fantastic. Okay, you can also, so I have some groups of students. So this group of students here that you can see in my pinned group there was a group of some of my students who were teaching some children in the community during the summer. And so rather than contacting the entire class, we would just, we had a group of 7 of the students in here where we could just chat together privately, share files and share notes and so on. And then of course you got all the fun stuff like emojis and GIFs and all sorts of things. You can even link YouTube in here and so on. And then if I wanted to, we could even have a face-to-face video call by clicking on this camera icon at the top there. And then everyone within that group could join a call. So that's kind of cool, but we'll come on to calls a little bit later. All right, so let's go back to our navigation panel over the side here, and we'll go down to Teams. So we're back to this page again, and this is really where things happen. So here we're going to jump into our Jumpstart team, and let's see if anyone's been able to join. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Today. Great. Look at that. Fantastic. That's really good. All right. So now you can actually see what's going on around this team. So let's jump into the posts here. I'm going to just move back up to the top of these posts, some earlier posts from some earlier sessions. So I'm going to go all the way back up to the top. There we go. So you can see that I've posted some messages and I've even set some tasks. And if you choose one of them that you want to see, so how to use breakout rooms, let's move down. We're using Teams. Let's look at that one. So if we look at using Teams here, and if I click on see more, there we go. And you can see I've posted a message to this team. And if you click on the Word file, now if any of you are following this, you should be able to click on that. There we go. We've got someone in already. As you can see the top corner there where I've put my cursor, you can see that people are joining. So now we're obviously looking at this document in real time, and feel free to type some things. Excuse me. So write some answers there. So this is something we can use kind of asynchronously. I can post something onto a wall and and then students or colleagues can type something in their own time, and we come back to it later. Or I've used it in a class situation where we can post something to the group and everyone does what you're doing now and you start writing on it. So you can see we've got 12 people in there. And as you write, if we wanted to communicate without closing this document, then I can just open the conversation pane. There we go, and I can just add things in there as we go. Okay, and if anyone has anything they'd like to know about Office 365, we can post that later on. All right, so let's close this up now. So good, yeah. So and essentially this, what you've written there, that's pretty much what I use Teams for: study groups, group work, collaboration, and personally all of my classes. So let's close this document. Great, so you can see there in that post, and if we go to the tabs along the top, we're in posts, and we're in what we call the general channel and see more. And then if we wanted to continue this conversation around using Teams, we would just click reply as opposed to starting a new conversation. So we want to keep everything within this topic in the same thread. So we just click reply, and then we have the same tools that you saw when I was sending Amanda a little message. All right, so great. Add a post, that all now goes into the same thread. So that's a good way of keeping your conversations pervasive in the same place and easy to find. Of course, if we wanted to start a new conversation, we would go down to the bottom here. We can have a conversation or an announcement, and so on. Add a subject, as you can see, and the same idea as if you were sending an email. All right, let's keep going down. All right, so now what we'll do, now with assignments, I'm just going to create a new one because we've had a few people added to the team. And so those of you who have just been added, you won't be able to see the ones that are currently there. So if I create another one here, let's create a little assignment here. And I'm going to call it that. And just for keep it easy, we'll keep the same thing. And we're going to give you 10 points for it. And we're going to assign that. Keep the due date there, and we can assign it right now. So let's just do that and see what happens. Okay, so now if I click on this one that we just set in the student view, those of you who are in the team, if you click on assignments along the top, you should be able to see this. And actually, it might help. I'm just going to go in here and edit it, because it would help if I actually added the assignment. Here we go. I can upload this from my device. And obviously, if you're in a class with your professor, this will happen automatically. There we go. And as I said, I'm just doing this for you now, because if I did it before and then you joined, you wouldn't be able to see it. All right, so we'll just update that now. And student view. Okay, so this is what you'll be able to see if you are in, if you're in the team. And you can see there's another message coming to general. So we'll come to that in a second. So basically what you do here is you click on the assignment, and then students would download that assignment, would download it here. They would do the activity, and then they would resubmit and turn it in. It's kind of that simple. And then I could mark it inside of Teams and return it to you. So let's just head back over to the general channel. And you can see that in a post has come up saying that I've posted that assignment, so you can actually view it here. If you clicked on it in the wall, it takes you to that assignments tab, and that's what you would see. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Now, one other thing that's really kind of nice with Teams is this thing called, over in the corner here, called the Immersive Reader. And I'd like to show you something about this, and it kind of makes things a little bit easier. Or more accessible, probably is a better word for it. So you can see here, if you open up the Immersive Reader, the text can become bigger. We can play it.
Label the Teams diagram. Due September 2nd, 2020, 11:59 p.m. Instructions. Label the Teams diagram.
Okay, so you get the idea. So I can read it out to you. If we click on the text preferences, we can make the text bigger or smaller. So this is really good for, as I said, for accessibility reasons. We can change the font. We also have the color can be changed too. We can increase or decrease spacing. So that's kind of a really good feature. We can highlight nouns or verbs, adjectives and adverbs and so on. We can break things up into syllables. And then also another thing that I kind of like, we can add a picture dictionary in there if we want to as well, which is kind of nice. And this is quite a useful one, a line focus. If we turn this on, it just takes away a lot of the noise from the text. There we go, which is good for long texts. And then also we can translate it. So let's choose, if you think that all of my students are international students, I've tested this out on a few of them, so they said it's about 90% correct. So let's just translate the whole document here. You can see it's translated.
标记团队关系图，2020年9月2日下午11点59分，指示标记团队关系图。
There you go. And if anyone speaks Chinese, feel free to type in the chat box how accurate that was. But you get the idea. So that's the Immersive Reader. And so it's not just with assignments the Immersive Reader is really useful. If we go back into our general channel and our posts here, and then we'll just scroll back up again. So if we're just finding your way around Teams, if we open this one up here, then if I remember correctly, if I click on the three dots, there we go, we've got an Immersive Reader within the options for each post as well. So if I turn this on, this will actually take up that entire post, and we have the same features again.
Julian Lonfonnet, Monday, July.
Okay, so you get the idea. So that's a kind of I find this really a really useful feature. Okay, yeah, it is pretty cool, isn't it? Just looking at the chat box. Okay, so that kind of, and as I said, just feel free to jump and type anything in to the chat box as we go. All right, so let's move over to the left here. So you can see that within a team, we've got these, what we call channels. And these channels may be sorted by topics, by weeks or classes, if your professor's using Teams, or if you're using it with your friends, then you can organize it in terms of weeks or classes or topics, however you want to organize it. Here you can see, and every team starts with a general channel. And then from there, and within the general channel, this is generally news about whatever the project is or whatever the courses you're doing, and so on. And then I have breakout rooms here. So because this is a class, I've set up a class shell here as I would do it. And a breakout room basically means that if we were having a live class, then I could break you off into smaller groups. And some of you would go into this one and click on that meeting. Some of you are going to breakout room 2, click on that link, and 3, and so on. And then we'd meet back in our main meeting room, which I've put here. Okay. Coming this fall with Teams, there are virtual breakout rooms. So if you're familiar with Zoom, which automatically puts participants in a live call into breakout rooms, that is a feature that is coming sometime within the next few months, apparently, to Teams. So this is our kind of a workaround when we want to do group work. All right, so let's look at, before we look at joining a meeting, I'd like to show you something here. So this is, so some of the, we're going to look at a 1-minute video here about better meetings with Teams. And this shows you some of the things that are currently available and some of the things that are on the way this fall. Here we go. Okay, so you can see Teams is it's had a lot of developments over the last few months, since from where we started in March, where we had, I think, 4 on a screen when we had live video conferencing, to then 9, and now it's up to 49. So a lot of these features are available. So those of you in the team, you can actually kind of participate in this. Let's click on the How to Be an Online Student Join class here, and let's look for the September 1st. This one here, we can click on this. This should work. Let's see. All right, we click on that one, and we can join it. So I'm going to click on Join here, and let me do something with that background. That's what I look like. So let's just choose something. Just like Zoom, you can choose your own background. You can add your own backgrounds in as well. So let's maybe go a little bit more sunshiny, shall we? Is it sunny outside today in Halifax? So that's our campus. Okay, makes you feel a bit more at home, doesn't it? Oh, look, Amanda's joined. Fantastic. So there we go. At the top here, if I want to stop getting notifications, I can turn on Do Not Disturb, and therefore I won't get any pop-ups. Great, so now we're in, and actually what's happened here, interestingly, is that, and I don't know why it does it. It seems to do it for every Jumpstart session I do, but it resets my Teams to its default mode. Now, if in here, what you just saw in that video, if we go into settings, then there is this little checkbox here, turn on new meeting experience, and calls will open in a separate window. So I'm going to check that one, but I will have to restart Teams to do that, so I won't do that today. And basically within this, what happens then is this control bar here moves to the top. The video will pop outside of Teams into a separate window, and then we get all those features like together mode, and we get the gallery of up to 49 people. Oh, there we go. That's a bit too close up of me, so we're going to hang up on this one. There we go. So that's really that easy to make a call. And as I mentioned before, one of the good things about Teams as well is if we go back into chat, for example, then I could, and if we go back to Amanda, I could always give Amanda a call right here, straight within Teams. So it's kind of replaced the office phone, if that makes sense. Good. All right. So where are we up to now? Let's jump across this tab bar along the top. And we're going to click on Files. And so everything that you post, you can either add your materials into the Files tab. As you can see, create folders. This particular one here, called Class Materials, automatically generates in a class shell. And it has a couple of links in the corner there. I'm not sure if you can see it on that screen, but just trust me, in that corner where my cursor is, there are a couple of links. So that means everything in this particular folder you can't download. But everything else you can download, you can access, and so on. Everything that is posted on the wall here is stored in files within that channel. Okay, there's also a class notebook which uses OneNote, which we're not going to look at today. So if your professor uses that, or if you wanted to use that for making class notes, it's a really good feature. Assignments we've looked at, grades, and so on. And then one thing, in case I forget to mention it later, is one good way of looking at Teams, and one thing Microsoft say about Teams being a hub for communication, but also think about Teams like you would think about your phone. It's not just a phone, it's a collection of apps. And there are over 500 apps for Teams that can be added in. Even if we click on these plus buttons, you can add a tab, and there are all these apps. Some of them are third party, some of them may need subscriptions, but there are quite a lot of options in there should you be using something that you use as well. All right, so, and then every channel also comes with its own files folder. Okay. So let's see, where should we go to? So let's just jump to the calendar now. So there's nothing in the chat box, so let's jump to calendar. So this is my crazy calendar at the moment. So you can see there, that's the call we were just joining. So basically everything in your calendar will sync with your Outlook calendar, both Microsoft products, so everything links together seamlessly. If I open up if I put another calendar entry in here, it will show up in my Outlook calendar. So that's a kind of really good feature as well. All right, so how Teams is used, or how do students use Teams? I'm going to jump back to the How to Win Online student channel here and open this one up. Okay, and this is taking me to Flipgrid, another Microsoft product, and a video that someone posted called Caitlin, and she's a student at Washington University, and she's talking about how to manage group projects. So someone posted on our shared Word document earlier that Teams was good for group projects, and this is how Caitlin uses it. So let's just watch this.
Today I'm going to be showing you how I use Microsoft Teams to manage a group project as a college student. I use Teams because I'm a business student, and so much of my work is group work, so lots of collaboration. And also in the business school, the Microsoft Office suite products are heavily emphasized, so we use lots of Word, PowerPoint, Excel. So it's really great to have them all in one platform. Real-time collaboration, again, tying back to the teamwork, it's really great to be able to be in the same documents as my team members at the same time, and also using Teams for that integrated hub for file sharing, chat, and video calls. This is the homepage of my Teams. As you can see, I use it for lots of different projects, but how I use Teams for my management communications course, specifically our client project. Here you can see this is the homepage of my team. It's really nice in the general thread just to see scheduled meetings. I can send out a general message to everyone, and you can see that right here. On the left, there are different channels. So for this class in particular, we have a tab for classwork, which is kind of the separate portion of this course, more centered around career development, and then also the client project. And up top, you can see that there are different tabs. What's great about Teams is that you can customize this to best fit the nature of your project. And so for us, we thought that having files, meeting notes, and assignments would best suit our needs. So this is a visual of me in a meeting with my teammates. As you can see, we are on the same page thanks to screen sharing. Screen sharing is really great because sometimes if you're individually all trying to find the same thing at once, it might not be as efficient. So I like to just share my screen and we can go to my professor's Canvas page and find what we're looking for and be on the same page. Now we're back in files. And this is really great because it's simple to organize content by folder. You can see we have slide decks, deliverables, rubrics, and professor and TA feedback. And also all team members have access to these files. So now I've clicked into slide decks, and for this project, it was really important to have this because we have multiple deliverables throughout the semester, including PowerPoint presentations. So as you can see, we have a variety of slide decks in here. And now we've clicked into one of them. So now we're in PowerPoint. And this is one of the slides we were going to use as a template for our project. We just copy and pasted that over into our own personal document. As you can see, my teammates and I can be in the document at the same time and working on the same slides, which is super helpful when trying to put together our project. So this is the calendar tab, and it's really great because not easy to schedule meetings, but I'm able to see kind of what I have to do for the day, and it's easy to share meetings with group members from here. Now heading back, it's super simple for me to just shoot a message to my teammates if I have a question about anything, and Teams is really great to have a lot of fun features such as GIFs, or even you can see one of my teammates sent me praise. So now we're back in the page, and now we're going to go into meeting notes. So this is what it looks like if at the end of a meeting, when me and my group members sit here, we kind of go over what needs to be done, the action items. And it's really great because if I forget something, we can just refer back to meeting notes in Teams to see what needs to be done. So this is it outside of a meeting. And going into this, me and my teammates really like to even further the action items and split them into tasks or assignments and delegate them to each of the team members so we can see kind of where everybody's at with progress and whatnot. So it's a really great way to stay organized and keep on track with the timeline of the project. So a little bit about me. I am a sophomore at Washington University in St. Louis. I'm majoring in finance and strategic management, as well as business analytics. I'm very interested in pursuing a career in consulting, but if you have any more questions about how I love using Teams, feel free to contact me. And yeah.
There you go. All right, so there is an example of how students using Teams for their own work, for their own group work within their own discipline. And it's also an example, as she was mentioning, about how you can add apps. This is, if I click on this button here, this is Flipgrid. So I've added Flipgrid into the channel. She talks about using Excel. I can add YouTube links, obviously Word, OneNote, and these ones are all Microsoft products, but there are, well, except for YouTube. Other ones like PDF, if I wanted to add in a PDF document and link it to a particular channel, I can do that, and so on. Wakelet as well for repository and pulling materials from the web. So there's lots and lots of options that can be added in there. You can see that if I go back to my own Teams, not only do I have some of my classes or some groups that I'm in, I also just have one for my own work, which means I can keep everything in one place and use Class Notebook. So it's a really powerful resource. It's free for everyone at St. Mary's, which is even better, and it's developing every day. So I'm just going to quit Microsoft Teams because I am curious. Let's go back into my settings. That's been checked now. I'm going to quit. So let's just quit that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat box. And if any questions come in, I'm going to restart Teams to see if my settings have changed. Looking good. There we go, you can see. So now my settings have changed. The bar now is along the top and not in the bottom, not in the middle there towards the bottom, which can get in the way a little bit. And if anyone else is there, and you can see if I just minimize this, that window is now popped out from the main Teams window. So I'm just going to minimize this one, which just makes navigation that little bit easier. There we go. So oops, let's go back to the video. And that just gives us more. We've got our raise hand, we can chat. And if anyone else is there who's joined the team that would just like, that is interested in just joining the call, all you need to do is go into the Jumpstart team, and you'll see there's a camera next to the channel now, and it says join. So feel free to just jump in. There we go. Hi, Amanda. All right, let's see if we have enough people. We don't have enough people yet for a together mode. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Chelsea. Fantastic. Look at that. Now it's getting interesting. Okay, and then so basically the together mode is you and then just mute your microphone. There we go. Perfect. There we go. So now with together mode, that's now become available. It's going to pop us into, which just makes it funny all along. So these settings will become automatic over the next few months, and you won't have to check a box. For now, these, and then for now, you're seeing it in some sort of lecture theatre set out, layout. And those will change for different situations like a coffee shop and so on, apparently. So that's going to keep things interesting. Oops. And then as you can have live captioning as you go as well. So you can obviously record, that records into Microsoft Stream. And also if we have live captioning, like I've just turned on, you can see along the bottom of the screen, it's coming up with, okay, let's allow Melissa in. So there we go, we've got live captioning going along the bottom as well. So it's kind of a pretty cool feature. And there's more coming as well. We've got our hands up as well if necessary, raise your hand, and so on. And of course, you can share your screen. There's a whiteboard that's just been updated as well, so you can type on it. I can share PowerPoints in there, and so on. And my desktop. Okay, so there you go. So if you, I'm just looking at the time. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat box. And thank you for participating in this session. I'm going to hang up on this call now because I can see Amanda in the back row is having far too much fun. So I'm going to hang up here. Okay, well, thank you very much.